Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Totally Amazing Mushrooms. We are out in the foothills again, and we're hoping to find some chanterelles, maybe some lobsters, maybe some more chicken of the woods, and I really want to find a beautiful berry. It's a black currant, and its name is Ribes lacustre, and it's absolutely delicious. So we're hoping we're going to find that. We don't know, we might come up totally empty-handed. Either way, come for a walk with us, see what we can see. Also, in one of the earlier videos, we showed what we thought might have been one of the Coprinus genus that was growing out of a horse poop. And looky here, that one was mighty degraded. This one is not. So I think this is the snowy ink cap, which was in the Coprinus genus, and it was Coprinus niveus. And then they put it into the Coprinopsis genus and named it Coprinopsis nivea. And you can see that they got these little tiny scaly, scabery kind of things on the top there. Look at how small it is in comparison to my finger. Yeah, and these guys will have a black spore print, and oops. And I unfortunately just broke it. But you can see how dark the gills are, which means the spores are going to be dark, like black or purpley black. And yeah, again, I believe this is one of the Coprinus genus. And even some of the scabers are coming off on my fingers here. It just comes right off. Kind of like the Coprinellus micaceus. The little tiny fibery things just come right off the cap. Yeah. So, growing out of a horse poop, pretty sure that's what this one is, but not positive, but one of the inky caps, and these guys will dissolve, like our Coprinopsis atramenteria, our Coprinus comatus, and they'll dissolve into their black ooze. So these little berries here, these little beautiful red berries, they're nice and juicy. These are the bitter cherries that are in the Pacific Northwest. These are Prunus marginata. And, yep, they are very bitter. Now, I'm sure that you're saying, now, Toe, come on, man, I thought this was a mushroom video. And it is. We're just foreshadowing. And this is what we were foreshadowing about. Now, from a distance, you'd go, hey, that looks like a big leaf maple dead leaf there. But it's not. And we got little dogs searching through the bushes up here. But, look at this. This is another Laetoporus, my friends. This one is on a bitter cherry. And this is, I believe, is Laetoporus gilbertsonii. And he was named after Robert Lee Gilbertson, due to his work in the field of mycology and doing the part of the collections on these. And here is a little chunk, and you can see the pore surface on here. Now, as I'd mentioned a couple videos ago, when we were talking about the Laetoporus conifericola, that there were several type groups or type clades of these guys. So there's Laetoporus sulphureus 1, and sulphureus 1 had the white pored fruit body, and sulphureus 2 has the yellow pored fruit body. And then you get into the Laetoporus conifericola clade, and that one has both the conifericola and it also has the Huroniensis, which is the East Coast version of the conifer lovers. And then you get into the Cincinnatus, which is in a little clade all its own. And also, then we get into the Gilbertsonii clade, which actually has a couple of different varieties down in the Caribbean, I believe. They've got a couple down there that they have not quite identified, but they believe are related, but far away. So look at this beautiful, beautiful body on these things. Wow, and they just grow, they will grow right through anything that's in their way. You know, they'll grow around it. This guy's actually still quite soft, actually. And it's got lots of, like there's earwig poop all over this thing. You can blow most of it off. But yeah, these guys are just this, oh yeah, this beautiful thing. Nice. It's fairly soft, but I don't know if it's at the edible stage still. But one thing about these is I have found that all of the chicken of the woods have a distinct smell. Yeah, and this one's no different. It's very mushroomy, but it's got its own distinct kind of smell. Just beautiful. Very, very, it's actually quite soft. I might actually harvest a little bit of the margin of these guys, of one of these guys here, and take a bit home to try it out. Because I have not tried the Gilbertsonii yet. I have only had the Conifericula. Now, one thing about the Laetoporus is I have a plane flying overhead, and I can't stand that. Now with the Laetoporus, and I believe it's with all of the Laetoporus, the Sulphureus, the Cincinnatus, the Gilbertsonii, the Conifericula, etc., etc., they have some wonderful qualities. They've been getting extracts out of these guys in the lab, and they've been doing also some work with some in vitro mice in the lab. And what they found with the mice is that the polysaccharides in these guys were anti-tumorous, and they actually promoted cell death in the cancer cells. So these guys have potential anti-cancerous qualities to them, plus they have anti-inflammatory qualities to them. Also, they have flavonoids and polysterols in them, and we all know that those are antioxidants which are going to help protect our DNA. So these guys are wonderful for us, the chicken of the woods, and they are very tasty. I do find that they have, yes, they have the texture of the chicken. I don't really get the flavor. Mind you, I have been doing them in teriyaki and whatnot like that. And also, one of our amazing subscribers actually mentioned doing them in a balsamic, and that sounds so appealing to me, so that's going to be one of my next projects, I think. But beautiful, yeah, growing out of the side of this dead bitter cherry, and just lovely. And it's quite the shelf. Like it just keeps going down below here, but there's a bunch of trailing Pacific blackberries in here, and I'm already getting prickled from them. And as you can see underneath this chunk that I pulled off, you can see the white spores under there. Creamy white spores, and they can sometimes vary even to a pale yellow. And you can see here where the fruit body ends and then where the pores start to form there. Those little lines going out, those are the pores, and that's where the spores are going to be spewing out of. Well, who would have thought, come up into the foothills, and the huckleberries, the red huckleberries, the Vaccinium parvifolium, still got huckleberries on them. That's awesome. Down where I'm at, I picked the last of the berries on any of the bushes out of my way, but these guys are a little shriveled, I give you that. But I mean, they've got flavor. They've got flavor. That's all right. That's not our goal today. I'm actually in the pursuit of, well, fungi for one, but also the Ribes lacustre, and that's the spiny black currant. They are delicious. So we just got to find it. While searching this hillside for lobsters and chanterelles, he's coming down. No, he's not edible, but this is the Dyer's polypore, Phaeolus schweinitzii. This is a new guy. Look at how beautiful. Is, oh my goodness, he's so fresh. Like this must have just popped out last night. Here's one from last year, and he's long done. You can see how hard they get compared to these beautiful guys, and they're like side by side, which is cool. So these guys actually parasitize the trees that are around them, and this is a Doug fir, a young one. I'd say probably about 12, 13 years old maybe. And they'll cause brown rot at the base of these guys, and eventually will kill the tree. But they normally find weaknesses in the tree itself. Now their pore surface is so neat looking. They're also called sometimes the maze gill because their pores can actually look kind of maze-ish. But this is just beautiful. Look at this specimen. And sometimes they'll come out in a bunch of rosettes like that one. Sometimes they're just solitary like this guy. He's just absolutely gorgeous. Now they have done some testing on these guys, and hey, guess what? These guys are a complex. So there are several different species that are very similar, and they've all been separated via their DNA and their habitat. So the type species that was the first collected was in Europe, I believe, and that is the Phaeolus schweinitzii. However, there are 5 different varieties, I guess you want to say, in different countries. 2 were just found in China. So the one in southeast China, I believe, was the Phaeolus Asiae orientalis. And then there was one in the northwest, and I believe that one was the Phaeolus yemenensis. And then there were 3 found in North America. There was one found in the southeast, and that was actually, I believe, was in Georgia, and they called that Phaeolus tabuliformis. And then there was one in the northeast, North America, and they called that one Phaeolus schweinetzii 1. And of course the one that's in the PNW, guess what they named it? Phaeolus schweinetzii 2. So there are the 6 different varieties, I guess we can call them, of the Phaeolus schweinetzii. Now these guys are not edible. They are very bitter, and I don't believe there's any toxins in them, but they're just so bitter you can't eat them. And then of course it doesn't take long, and they get pretty hard too. This one, like I said, I think has only been out for maybe 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer. So it is so very soft. And you can see how much this guy actually bruised brown. Did not take any time. Watch this. I'll just barely touch it there. Already going brown. So velvety though, just beautiful. But yeah, unfortunately they do cause cuboidal brown rot, and I'm assuming this guy is its victim. And then even after the tree dies and it falls over, they can still grow around the stump, and sometimes on the stump itself. And some people like to do some pretty neat things on the trail. Yeah, this is kind of wild. It's like an old mask. Yes, we have some artistic people out there. And my apologies for the odd plane that's been flying over. It's been quite a eventful day up in the clouds. Here's a Fomitopsis munsei, or panicola, and this is a red-belted conch, and he was originally upright. And this tree came down about a year ago, and you can see that he's slowly trying to reorient his spore surface there. So some of it's still facing out, but it's trying to get so the whole thing's pointing downward. It'll get there probably by next year. Maybe even partway through this season. I just love what they do. They're just amazing. And so beautiful. I think this one's already got himself reoriented there. Cool. Now in here, in this beautiful, moist, mossy forest, and lots of salal, and lots of vanilla leaf, and lots of undergrowth and all that kind of stuff, dead logs and everything. This has been a prime chanterelle spot for me over the years. And it's been so dry. It's just been so dry. We have not had like a drop of rain in months. And anything that we do have are just little showers. So I'm really having difficulty finding any chanterelles, any lobsters. I am finding other mushrooms, but not the ones that we're out here for. And beautiful baby hemlock here growing out of this other log. It's a nurse log. But we're going to keep looking, because you never know what's around the next corner or on the other side of the next log, as it were. And we have found our first Ribes lacustre. Look at how spiny this guy is. And he's got these beautiful black berries. And these guys also have little spikes on them too, but they wipe off. There's not a big flush on these guys this year. But, oh, they're beautiful. So wonderful tasting. Now, we might be able to see some of the little spikies on. Oh no! I dropped them. That's alright. There's just a couple on here, but I'm just going to take a few and leave the rest to proliferate. But yeah, fabulous little guys. Just Ribes lacustre. And oh, there's just these 2 bushes here. They've got their leaves are very similar to their cousin, the Ribes sanguineum. And that's the red flowering currant. and they're long done. And actually I didn't find any berries on those guys this year, but okay, well, just these few, but beautiful. Right on. Loaded with antioxidants, these guys, just loaded. Now I lifted up the bush and look, they're just all over the underside here. So yes, there is lots. But I'm still just using these as a trailside snack. There's not enough of them to do anything with at home. I couldn't even make a piece of fruit leather with what there is here. But yum yum. And the other weird thing is this time last year, I was actually pulling out chanterelles, I was pulling out the lobsters, I was pulling out hydenums, you know, the hedgehogs. There was hydenellums I was finding out here. There was, there was so much to forage out here last year this time. But I guess it's just because it's been so dry. And we are unfortunately one of the driest spots on the entirety of Vancouver Island. So, yeah, that's the way it is. But like I said, they're getting chanterelles and lobsters North Island, and they're getting them South Island, but they do get more moisture than we do, unfortunately. Either way, we'll just keep going and looking. So a few episodes ago, we were highlighting one of the chicken of the woods, the Pycnoporellus, and we talked about a distant cousin of theirs, which was Pycnoporellus genus, and, well, what do you know? Looky what we found. And this, my friends, is Pycnoporellus fulgens, and it is very, very similar to the chicken of the woods, all of them, but this one does like the conifers, just like the Pycnoporellus does, and on the east coast is the Huroniensis. But these guys have more of a kind of a fuzzy top to them, and I'm just going to take a little piece off of this guy here. Here, now you can see very, very similar pore surface, and one thing about these guys is, you know, the chicken of the woods I found have a very distinctive smell. Not a strong smell, but it's got a mushroomy smell, but it's, I just can't put a finger on what it smells like. These guys smell exactly the same. Yeah, absolutely exactly the same. Now they classified these guys as edibility being unknown and possibly too hard to eat. Well, I'm here to tell you, about a week ago I found these guys as well, and I took just the margin like you do with the chicken of the woods, and I fried it up, and I'm telling you, it tastes exactly like the chicken of the woods. Same texture, same flavor. Yeah, just it was really, really good. So in my books, yeah, these guys are edible if you just use the margins. These guys are getting a little bit on too far, but for edibility that I have found, and of course I read up on them, and there are no toxins in these guys in any of the reports that I have found. So I decided to try them, knowing that there was no toxins in them and that the worst I could get was GI upset. And I did not. They were absolutely amazing. Not a problem there. But really, really neat. Now, not only are these guys in a different genus, they're not even in the same family as the chicken of the woods. So the chicken of the woods are in the Pycnoporellus family, and these guys are actually in the Fomitopsidaceae family. So a little bit different there, but boy, are they ever similar. Again, they've got the fuzzy tops, different from the chicken of the woods, which is smooth, and yeah, just wild. Now the ones I harvested came from just down here on the side of the log, and as I'd mentioned a few videos ago, that the Pycnoporellus actually likes the lower side of logs, whereas most often you're going to find the Pycnoporellus on the top side of the logs. Yeah, this is, so that's one of their little distinguishing features. Plus they're a little bit more orange, not quite as yellow as our sulfur shells. And this one's actually kind of soft, you know. The margin of that might still be okay, but as mentioned, I think these guys are a little bit too far gone and going to be a little bit too much on the rubbery side. I don't find them very hard, but again, I just took just a little bit of the margin, and I didn't take a lot of them because it was the first time trying them. So, very awesome. Just love these guys, and again, totally different genus, totally different family from the chicken of the woods. Beautiful. but boy do they look similar. Minus the fuzzy caps, of course. Yeah, right on. Due to the graphic nature of the next scene, viewer discretion is advised. So Little just alerted me that there's something going on up here. And we've got a turkey vulture there. That's Cathartes aura. He's working on something, I don't know what it is. We're going to see how close we can get and find out what's going on here. I can tell you right now it's not a very nice smell. There's another one. Just sitting up in the tree waiting. Oh, there's a third one up there. Okay, I just got to get a little bit closer. He's not flying away. Oh, Little's going to chase him off. She likes to chase these guys. Wow, look at them. They're an ugly bird, but they do their job. I just don't want Little going and rolling in whatever it is that's up here. He's going to come after you, big. Oh, he's already got his wings spread. It's a baby deer. Very young deer anyways. Yeah, he's been here a bit. Like, this guy's not even... I'm 20 feet away from this turkey vulture. Wow. That's a big bird. Anyways, let's leave them to their cleaning. And that's Cathartes aura, their name actually, is the cleaners of the forest. This is one thing that I see a lot out in the forest, and it drives me nuts. I really don't know why people have to do this. They grab these strips of the bark off these cedars, the Thuja plicata, and yeah, they pull up in a big long strip, but they do it for fun, and it kills the tree because the bark is, you know, that's their lifeline. It's got all the cambium underneath and all the protectants and everything, and they take this off, and the tree will eventually die. And I see this in every forest that is public that I go to, and it drives me nuts. Please don't kill our trees. You know, I mean, yes, they are very prolific around here, but it doesn't mean you have to do damage to them. It just drives me nuts. Some of the ones I find have completely been stripped of every piece of bark. Here's the pieces of bark that they've stripped off of it. Just absolutely ridiculous, no reason for it, and why damage our beautiful forests? So, please, take care of our forests. Oh, what's this? Oh, right on. I have been waiting so long for these guys. These, not for edibility, these guys are just really cool. These guys are Flebia tremulosa, previously known as Marullius tremulosus. And it was originally named by Heinrich Adolf Schrader, I believe his name was, a German botanist actually. So these guys are actually a crust fungus. Now a lot of those guys like to just run along the log, but these guys like to give out that extra little bit and kind of curl out a kind of a lip, almost like makes it look like a bracket fungus almost. But look at this pore surface. These wrinkly guys are kind of like veins. They're really neat. That's their pore surface. And these guys' common names are jelly rot and the Marullius trembler. And also, in Holland, they actually call them the bacon pork rind, because, that was just my hat falling off, sorry. They kind of do look like bacon. So if we could find some forest tomatoes and maybe some miner's lettuce, we can have a BLT. No, I'm just kidding. These guys are not classified as edible because they're kind of fibrous and they're kind of jelly-like. Their margin is can get kind of translucent, which these ones kind of are, which is really neat. They're little white rot decayers, and so they're going to be mowing down on the lignin. And I was looking for lab reports on these guys. I've been looking for a long time, and the only thing that I can find about these guys is that they do have compounds in them that have antihypertensive qualities to them. So that's pretty wild. I assume that they're going to be doing more testing on these guys as well in the future, which would be really great. But yeah, we're in this little alder grove, and it's quite moist down here, and everything stays pretty dampish. But yeah, these guys just, I can see why they call them bacon pork rind. But I really hope the camera's picking up these pore surface. They're just like wrinkly kind of veins, and they've got these little cross kind of members, and they've also got kind of a hairy cap. If you can see the hairs on these guys, they're kind of almost woolly. And these guys are also growing right through a plant as well. Fungi don't care, they'll just push their way through whatever's in their way, but they grow very much like a shelf. You know, the shelf fungus and whatnot, and or brackets. These guys here are growing on a old rotted Alnus rubra. And these guys like Alnus rubra. They like hardwoods, but sometimes they like conifers. These guys are amazing. And another thing about these guys is their spores are kind of sausage-like, apparently. So, you know, it's funny, they get called bacon, and their spores look like sausages. Too bad they're not edible. See the fuzz on the margin there and on the top of the cap, or the lip, or whatever you want to call it. Beautiful. Quite a flush of them all the way down here. Yeah, I saw them a year ago, and I haven't seen them since, and I've looked everywhere for them. You know, these are not ribes, I'll tell you that much. These are some elk poops, and they're very much like deer, but much larger. Yeah, these guys are big beasts around here, and they sometimes form huge herds too, and they're all through these woods, but haven't heard anybody bugling lately. But I know hunting season's coming up. And we got a big old dead Doug fir and another beautiful reishi. This is the Ganoderma organensis. Just absolutely fabulous. Look at that absolutely beautiful body on it. That is perfectly edible, that white part. And it does not take long for it to get to this lacquered look. Does not take long. But I'm thinking I'm going to harvest a chunk of that because it looks very tantalizing. Look at that, beautiful. Just awesome. All right, everybody. Unfortunately, our journey has come to an end, and I hope our next video is a little bit more interesting for you. However, if you did enjoy what you saw, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe button, and stay safe out there, my friends. Take care now.